Right, now we're going to take a look at the blues scale, which is a very simple extension of the minor pentatonic, which is adding one extra note, and that extra note is the flattened fifth. So I'm going to run through the scale positions with you first of all, and then we'll take a look at some scale fragments on pairs of strings, and then look at some licks. So if we start off with pattern number 1, we're going to add an extra note on the 6th fret of the A string and the 8th fret of the G, so we get this. Shape number 2, we're going to add an extra note on the bottom and top E at the 11th fret and also on the 8th fret of the G. Shape number 3, we're going to add an extra note on the bottom and top E at the 11th fret and on the D string at the 13th fret. Okay, for our next shape, shape number 4, we're going to add an extra note on the D string at the 13th and the B string at the 16th, so we get this. Okay, for our next pattern, we're going to add an extra note on the 18th fret of the A string and on the 16th fret of the B string. So hopefully you should be able to practice those scales all over the neck in the same way, relating them to one of our caged chord shapes. Just to give you some extra chords to practice over as well, the blues scale will work over minor chords, as obviously with the minor pentatonic, but they'll also work over dominant chords, which are major triads with a flattened 7th. So an E7th would be, or an E7th shape, sorry, an A7th chord. Simply bar across the 5th fret and play the 6th fret G and the 7th fret of the A. The D 7th shape, 7th fret D, 9th fret G and top E, and 8th fret B. The C shape is going to be 12th fret A, 11th fret D, 12th fret G, 10th fret B. The A shape, bar across the 12th fret from the A string and play the 14th fret D and B. And the G shape's a slightly tricky shape to play, so I would suggest just playing the top part of the chord. So play across the 2nd fret, or actually you can play across the 14th fret from the D string up to the top E, and then add the 15th fret of the top E. So if you practice the blues scale against those chords, it'll give you a much more, a much bluesier tonality. What we're going to do now is practice our blues scale on pairs of strings. We're just going to look at the E and the B strings, and then I'm going to leave it up to you to work through the remaining pairs. Use the pentatonic section of this DVD as a guide for you. And we're going to kick off in the pattern number 5 and start on the B string. We play 3, 4 and 5. And then 3 and 5 on the top E. So on the B string in shape number 1, this is a little tricky, so you can either play it with, as fretted notes or as a slid note. Go 4, 5, 8, 5, 8. So next position, pattern number 2, 8 and 10 on the B, 8, 10, 11 on the top E. On the next position, we're playing starting off on the 10th to the 13th on the B. And then we're playing it 10, 11, 12 on the top E. Next position, 13, 15 and 16 on the B, and then 12 and 15 on the top E. And then our next position is 15, 16, 17 on the B, and then 15 and 17 on the top E. We're back to where we started. So you can see that we've covered, once again, instead of being very positional, we're able to cover, large portions of the neck and really negotiate through several different positions. So you can have all sorts of fun with little licks, like just getting a nice little triplet pattern there. And you can move that all over the neck, obviously, if we're up here. Things like that, they can sound really, really effective when you're trying to build tension and excitement within a solo. Okay, now we're going to take a look at some little patterns and licks. This first one that we're going to take a look at is very similar to the first pentatonic exercise that we looked at in the previous section. And this particular lick starts down at the 3rd fret and gradually works its way, covering a large area of the neck, as opposed to, as I've said before, sticking to one fingerable position. Here we go. 3 to 5 on the E. 3, 5, 6, 5, 3. Shift position. 5, 6, 7 onto the D. 5, 7 onto the G. 5, 7, 8, 7. 5, change position, 7, 8, 9, onto the B, 8, 10, onto the E, 8, 10, 11, 10, 8, shift position, 10, 11, 12, 10, 13, 10. Okay, let's get it in time. Here we go, 3, 4, and... One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next little lick is a great little pattern that crosses through all of the string groups in different octaves. We start off way up here at the 10th fret, play 10, 11, 10, 8, and then 10, 8, and then 10, 8 on the B. So drop that down onto the G and the D and play exactly the same phrase. 7, 8, 7, 5, and then 7, 5, and then 7, 5 on the D. Now drop that down onto the A and the E string. So 5, 6, 5, 3, 5, 3, and then 5, 3 on the bottom E. So moving across. 2, 3, 4. That's a great little pattern to cover large portions of the fingerboard. Okay, let's take a look at our next little lick, and I'm cheating a little bit with this lick. Make sure that you play this one over dominant chords as opposed to minor chords. And this one might seem a little bit advanced, but it's a great fun little pattern for you to experiment with because it uses exactly the same shape. We're also, I'm cheating a little bit because to enable me to use the same shape, I'm actually crossing into another scale ever so slightly, a scale referred to as the hybrid scale, which is a mixture of both major and minor pentatonics. We start off at the 8th fret, then play the 9th fret, and then the 12th. So in A, minor, major, and then up to the 5th. So we go 8, 9, 12, 9, 8, and then play 10 on the B string. It's important to get a very fast, fluid legato technique on those on that top string. Now what we do is we shift that shape up a minor third, so up a tone and a half, and play 11, 12, 15, 12, 11, and then 13 on the B. So it's exactly the same pattern. And then we can bend our 15th fret up to the 17th. Okay, let's put it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as regards to what the picking hand's doing, you can pick this two ways. We can either start on a down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Or we can start down, 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 down. So you're almost sweeping across the strings. Entirely up to you which approach you take. Okay, our final little lick that we're going to look at, it's not really a lick, it's more of a way of, again, covering massive proportions of the neck. And we're starting off 5, 8 and 10 on the bottom E. This is all 3-note per string. 3-note per string through pentatonics and blues scales can be quite tricky because of the wide stretches, but just take your time and build the speed up gradually. We play 5, 8 and 10 on the bottom E, and then 6, 7, 10 on the A string. So, and then just simply repeat that in the next octave. So 7, 10, 12 on the D, 11, 9, 12 on the G. So, and the next position, 10, 13, 15, 11, 12, 15, 12, 11, onto the B, 15, 13, 10. Okay, just simply walking across. It's quite tricky to get that clean. Also do a little pattern, little repetition thing. Okay, I'm just walking up the pattern. Back down. Back up. Change strings. We can also have a little bit of fun up on the top string. If any of you have ever experimented with two-handed tapping, we can... Okay, that little section of the lick there, play 11, 12, 15, and tap 17. So we're tapping 17, 15, 12, 11, 17, 15, 12, 11, and then 15, we tap, and then back up. And it's kind of a nice little twist to the end of our little run. So put it together. Something like that.